Hey, it's Corey at Blue Plate, 3218 Mission Street. Come see us. Meatloaf, fried chicken, deviled eggs, Dollar Olympia beers. We're here every day of the week. We got a garden and we got smiles on our faces. Come let us make you happy.
John Joseph Van Landingham of Southern Georgia, who has been skating since 1986 and blowing glass since 96. His glass is homemade in the USA, and you can find out more info from him on his Instagram or his Facebook. So with that, John Joseph Van Landingham, keep it going. And like Albino says,
provoking the stoke.
You're a beautiful man.
This is Shane Heyl, and you're with what? You're with who? Talkin Schmit. You dig?
Hey, Talkin Schmit. I'm already not watching.
It's cool, like tonight is the night.
Damn, this is like the coolest thing I'm ever gonna do.
I wouldn't say it was fun.
What do you mean, bro? Christian Fletcher's younger brother.
Fuck the Dodgers.
Big Dog's in. What do you think, Dolan?
John, Schmitty.
Talkin Schmit.
Alpha macaroni.
Most of these guys, their opinion don't matter.
Talkin Schmit, right?
It's skateboarding.
I remember that.
Talkin Schmit.
What are yuns doing?
Holy shit.
Skateboarding homies.
No, Schmitty, you can't jump in.
What is happening?
Gregory.
Yes, we are.
Wi-Fi check 1, Wi-Fi check 2.
hello, everybody. I got a really good one for you today. My next guest is a skateboarder first, but he also the lead vocalist of the band The Goat and the Occasional Others. He's dropped verses with Lil Wayne. He's the CEO of the worldwide brand called Shake Junt. Get ready, kids. This is Skate Rock survivor Shane Heyl. And like Chicken Bone, now is on. What it do? How are you doing?
Dude, loving this, man. Great introduction right there, Schmitty. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I appreciate you so much. And I just want to apologize for how many times I've had opportunities to like connect with you, bro, and like letting life and business and all this other stuff get in the way is bullshit, man. We should always stay connected to our homies.
Yeah, dude, but life's a struggle, but we never give in. Pato Bantan. He said it like back in the day. That was our shit. Like, it ain't easy, but we'll get it. Like, and I appreciate your time. I know your time is fucking valuable. And so getting together right now is much appreciated from this end as well.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you too.
I want to go back to like where it all began for you. Where were you born and raised?
Born in Long Beach, California. 9th grade going into high school. I went to high school in Arizona. So moved from Long Beach to Arizona. And that's kind of where I really got into skating. Like that's where I met Ellington, Scotty, like a lot of my crew that I still know to this day. Like that was it right there, you know? And then when I graduated, I moved right back to Long Beach.
What city were you in Arizona?
All over. I was in Scottsdale. I was in Phoenix. I was in Tempe.
Oh.
Paradise Valley. There's a lot of areas there. Kind of jumped around.
But they didn't have all the, like they got lots of parks there now. They didn't have all those when you were there.
Nah, no, not at all. The only park that we would go to was called the Wedge.
Yeah.
The Wedge.
The fucking
man.
launcher.
Yeah, that's it. So there was no park next to the Wedge. Now there is, you know, so there was a skate shop still around, but we'd go to this skate shop called Sidewalk Surfer. Meet up at Sidewalk Surfer, watch the newest video that came out, get hyped, and then just skate from the store all the way down to the Wedge. And that was it. You just kick it at the Wedge all day. And that was kind of like a routine that we had for a long time. It was just like hit the shop, chill, watch the videos, look at the new product coming in. All right, let's go skate to the spot. Boom, let's go learn a new trick like front pop late flips or whatever that shit was, you know, like that was the shit, man. Like,
so was that before Cowtown wasn't there yet?
Cowtown was not born yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is 1991, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 91 and 95.
And that's what videos are going in your VCR at that time? Like, what are you really hyped on as like you're kind of evolving into whatever you're going to become? What are you like Oh, I want to rewind that part. That guy is
Oh,
fucking
I
sick.
mean, okay. Plan B questionable. Like there's ones that were before, like New Deal 1281 was kind of around that time too. But
Yeah.
the one that just was it, right? And I talked about this just the other day. It was Plan B questionable, no doubt. It was the one that we went to the store and watched. It was the one that we were at home and watched over and over. It never got boring, right? The soundtrack ended up being like what we listen to this day, you know, like hieroglyphics was now a part of our DNA,
Right.
you know, like wanting to in like EMB was the spot, you know, the people that skated there and the way that everybody dressed, the tricks that were coming out, how to rock your shoes, like everything, you know. And I'm curious to see what that is for kids now, you know, like there's been so many generations since then. I mean, that video dropped in 91. So, I mean, yeah, but that was everything to us.
Yeah,
For
the
sure.
Beastie Boys coming on to Carol with the C
No,
in the
forget
EMB, and
about
then it just says Carol. That is forever.
It
Like,
is, man. Like I went to Embarco the other day, like not the other day, but not too long ago. And we stayed in that hotel. And of course, I ran to that window. I looked down and I saw the sea, even though it's not there, but I was like, no way. And I filmed myself doing it because I was like, no way. The Beastie Boys,
yeah,
they're coming home. They
yeah.
coming home. Oh, they coming home. Damn, man. Like when you see Sanchez and Carol just sitting there too, you're just like, "Ooh, I just got chills, man. I just got chills." Like, yeah. So I think we all wanted to live in San Francisco back then too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for sure.
What gets you out of Arizona? Like, did skateboarding kind of draw you to California then? Or like, were you getting into trouble back there? Or what got you out of there?
To be from Long Beach, to know California, to like have a taste of all of that, you know, growing up. And even though like I met my best friends in Arizona, we all wanted to get out of there. Like we wanted to go live this dream, this skateboarding dream. And we knew that was in California. And so absolutely, I think skateboarding just sent me back to California.
Hmm.
Because as soon as I graduated high school, that was it. Like, here you go, diploma, mom and dad, like, I'm out. Go try this out.
Okay. You're already friends with Kopelman and Ellington at that time?
Oh, yeah, strong friends for sure. And so the connection I had back home was I was riding for a skateboard company called Zimbabwe Skateboards. And Zimbabwe was the skate shop in Long Beach across the street from Wilson High School. Zimbabwe was also where I got my first skateboard before I moved to Arizona.
Shit.
Okay, so now Zimbabwe changed their name to Marges. Marges is in Huntington Beach. So he relocated his skate shop, Zimbabwe skate shop, from Long Beach to Huntington Beach, kept the name Zimbabwe, but turned that into a first clothing company, then board company. And so I rode for that. And so when I came back to Long Beach, the owner of that was like, hey, you can stay on my couch. You can work at the shop Marges to make money and ride for the company. Like his name was John Ferretti. And man, talk about good looking out. Like really gave me a spot to stay, gave me a job, gave me an opportunity to like be a part of this skate company. And not only that, but like if I wanted to try to film for it or be a part of it and help it grow, like that was dope. And the first pro I met, which Jason Rothmeyer,
shout out,
who lives in Long Beach, who then rode for Zimbabwe later on and worked at Marges. So it was just like full circle. I was just like, this is crazy. Like, how is this all happening? You know? So my first like photo in a mag was, as far as an advertisement goes, was from Zimbabwe. It was like a little half-page black and white photo in the back of Thrasher, doing a little back tail.
No way.
Yeah, that was hype, man.
You know what the cover is?
No, I don't. But I do know around that time, like Scotty and Eric came up to me and they're like, yo, you in the new Thrasher, you in the new Thrasher. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, let's go to the shop. So we hit up Sidewalk Surfer. Sure enough, they were laughing. And I was like, why are you guys laughing? Like, what's up? And they're like, this is you. And it was like this story about this guy named Billy who they photoshopped my hands off and put them for feet. So they took my feet off and put my hands for feet. And there was these 2 wedge kickers, and there was like a real demo in Arizona. And I like went and tried to do a heel flip over the 2 wedge ramps. And they must have taken a photo. They didn't know who I was. So like, oh, this is hilarious. Let's just cut his hands and put it for feet and write this story about his name is Billy. And he ends up dying because Billy couldn't get to the food because he had no hands and he had hands for feet. So he starved to death. And it was this whole thing, man. And I was like, you gotta
find
shit
this.
me, man. Oh, I hope you do. It's hilarious. I was like, damn, that was it. It was a full page color photo. I was like, fuck it, man. I was hyped still. I was like, yeah, so what? Like, I made it in the Mac.
Huh. Whoa,
Yeah.
I never heard that one before. I gotta find that. That's amazing. It was
Yeah.
at like 93-ish or later?
Yeah, I would say that's probably around it. Yeah.
Okay. And were you already like, where does the goat origin come from? Like, is that back in that day, or is that later when you're more partying and stuff, or what?
Probably later, a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, later in life, you're writing a song about Billy, right? Like, isn't there like some
Yeah.
Billy?
Hey, Billy, what you doing? Looking all smooth with your white on white. Damn, you cool, Billy, look at you. All the fun biscuits on your side. Damn you, Billy, how'd you do it? Damn you, Billy, wanna be like you. Oh, for sure, I wanna be like Billy.
Yeah, straight up. So it's just like, yeah, because I had a dog named Billy. Then Thrasher did the story about Billy. And then I wrote a song about Billy. And they all don't mean nothing together. It's just like, why is this name? Yeah. Some people are like, yo, my name's Billy. Why are you trying to talk that? I'm like, this ain't about you, man. Like, nah.
Oh, for sure, I wanna be like Billy.
There's gonna be somebody out there with the name. Yeah. Fuck. Is it true or false you had the first sponsor was Grind King?
Yeah. Grind King, I mean Zimbabwe, though. Zimbabwe was first and foremost.
For shop.
For boards, for clothes, for shop. It was shop, clothes, boards.
Oh,
So
okay.
Zimbabwe, like I was rocking Zimbabwe boards. That was my first sponsor.
Then you got on Grind King after that?
Yep. That was sick because like they really were giving back to this like little crew of homies that like there was James Craig, brother, Ryan Kenrich. There was a good crew, and there was like Society Skateboards, I think it was called. And we were all just kind of like trying to come up, do our thing. And like Grind King really looked out for that and was giving us full page color ads. Like that was sick. I'll never forget that, man. Like I got a full page Grind King ad. It was shot by Rick Cossack. It's funny the things you remember because those little things back then mean so much more to you than like some of the other stuff that are much more like polished and accomplished, because that's like your foot in the door. That's the one that you like dream up as a kid. Like, dude, what? I made it in the mag. Like, I'm going out with this legendary photographer. You're just like so scared. Like, what's he going to make me do? Like, can I not do it or shit? And I ended up switch nose sliding this little 6-stair rail. And he was like, can you do it again? Can you do it again? I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is what it's like. You got to do this again and again. And I was just like, whatever, like hyped to do it,
Oh,
but yeah,
man.
Grind King.
And what was the feeling for you guys, like as far as like video? Because video kind of comes out in, I mean, there was like Stacy Peralta and shit, but when regular kids started getting their own camera and stuff, that's kind of 90s, era where like all of a sudden your bro's got a camera and he's learned how to film. What's your thoughts is like, are you like, fuck, a video part is way cool, or are you kind of like whatever still at that point and you're like photo is the gold? Like some people are more photo oriented and some people are more like, I don't really care about photos. I gotta go get the clips because I want to see a video. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, back then.
Yeah. I mean, obviously later it changes.
Right. Back then, to be able to actually have the connection to call a photographer, right? Dang, I'm gonna call up Mike Burnett and I'm gonna see if he's down to go shoot this fake ollie down Bricktown. I'm scared because I'm like, I'm setting this appointment up. I have to call the photographer. I'm like, hopefully he says yes. You know, like, is it good enough?
Yeah.
Is it worth his time? I'm nobody. You know, there's all these feelings coming up. He says it's go time. Now you're setting the date and the time. Now it's a thing. Like, it's no like catching the moment while the moment's happening. It's like, nope, it's in the calendar. You're going to Fake Ollie Bricktown Sunday at 1 p.m. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. And then you call your filmer next. Like, all right, I'm going to go try to shoot this photo. So the photo is set up first.
Right.
You know, but obviously you want the footage. You need both. You can't, I don't think there's very few times we would like shoot the photos without trying to get the footage, but the photographer in the photo was the gold. Like, you really like to get in the mag and to get that photo and to make that thing happen was huge. Like I said, like we ran to the store to open up the mag. Like, you made it, you're in it, no way. Like, that's huge. And as you get older, I know I'm going to jump ahead here, but getting older, looking back, I wish I took more photos because they're just huge pieces of time that you want to like look at and frame. And even if they are you can still put them in your house or whatever, give them to a family member. It's like, hey, family member, go look up this link and watch me skate. Yeah, that's cool. But a framed photo shot by so-and-so is like, that's gold, man. And I wish I would have done that more for sure.
Yeah,
because I was like talking to Burnett just the other day and I was like, man, I've only taken a couple photos, you know, and I've like gotten the mag only a couple times, and I wish I would have applied myself in that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think to add to your point, at least from my point of view, a lot of kids could film and not know what they were doing, and if they got it in the frame, even if it wasn't filmed that good, it could actually make the video. But for photographers back then, there was no like shooting, like you're not going to go shoot with a kid that doesn't know how to shoot photos. You're going to go shoot with a dude that's already established, you know, like it is more of like, it's just felt like a little more of a professional, like an appointment as far as versus like going out and skating with your friends. And like the filmer's usually skating too. And it's just like, you're not wasting anyone's time as much as if you go out with a photographer and you're like, this guy, like, I'm on the clock right now, you know, like
absolutely. Yeah. You on the clock.
Yeah. How long are you in that area before you moved to San Diego eventually, right?
Yeah. I born in Long Beach, moved to Arizona, got out of Arizona, went back to Long Beach, did that for a little bit, then moved to downtown San Diego. And then downtown San Diego is when Eric and Scotty finally were getting out of Arizona, and they're like, we're getting out. We're okay. Where are we going to live? Let's all live together. And Aaron Harrison, AKA Hairball, had a spot in downtown San Diego, and Eric and him had got to know each other 0 days. They meet Alyssa during like the time of Toy and all that. And so he was like, hey, you guys can stay at my place. And there's an open spot next to me. So it was this house that had been converted into like 5 apartments in this one house. And next thing you know, it's me, Scotty, Eric, Hairball, Alyssa. We're all moving into this house, you know, and we're all like taking over these different little like 1-bedroom studio apartments in there. And we're just taking it over. And that street was called Albatross. And Albatross was that's a lot of great things happened from there. I mean, Zero was born there. Like, that's where those guys were like going hard for the first Thrill of It All video. You know, Aaron Harrison was the man. He was crazy. He was just doing it, man. He was the shit. That's my dog, man. Like, good looking out on everything. Watching Alyssa just do her thing and bubble up, you know, like the stories there are endless. Like,
yeah. What was your first impression meeting Alyssa? Like, was that it, or did you already know her and then you guys lived together and became closer?
No, that's where we all got to really know each other. we all got to really know each other right then and there, like in that place, and become really tight friends. And it just clicked. Like we all just loved each other, and it was just perfect. Like a great group that connected and got to live together. And I got a job at Tumyeto too. So these guys were like foot in the door. They're sponsored, right? They're like Zero, Toy Machine, doing it. Like they're getting on shoe companies. And I'm just like, oh man, like I'm not there yet. So I get a job at Tumyeto, and my job was to put graphics on skateboards. So I learned the whole process, squeegeeing, boards, the whole deal. Like Zero was getting born too. So I'm like putting these brand new Zero graphics on. The homies would come by, say what's up. Like, hey, I just want the one pass on the veneer. I don't want the whole thing. And I'd be like, you hook it up. Here you go. That job was the shit, man. That job was the shit. I really did. Looking back now, that was a blessing, because I got to live where I got to live, learn how to put graphics on skateboards, see how that whole business was ran. And then eventually they gave me a shot to get on Foundation and go on this big US Canada tour.
Oh, with the F Troop?
With everybody. I mean, Zero, Toy, Foundation, the whole big body. We're going on this mega tour. And this is your shot, kid. And I'm like, I work. They're like, don't worry about working here. Like, you're going to go for it. And Mark Waters, man, RIP, baby. Like, he was the man that like put that together for me.
That's crazy. So you got to spend some time with Josh Beagle before you actually spent time with Beagle. What?
Yes and no. Josh Beagle was not, it was kind of like,
he was already gone?
He wasn't involved. He still had a pro model. He just wasn't really like clicking with it. Like he wasn't on the trip.
Oh.
So, I mean, this trip was Mike Maldonado turned pro on this trip. I mean, you had BA, you had Eric, Alyssa, Greco, Bam.
Oh, man.
It was it was like the heaviest part of like when Toy was just like in that jump off a building zone. You know, that was that era. And then you had the birth of Zero. So you just had the thrill of it all video. It was good. I didn't do too soon. I turned 21 on that trip. I blew it, man. I blew it. Like I gave it a shot. I skated as best as I could, but obviously I was down to party and bullshit and do all that other stuff and enjoyed a little bit too much. And as soon as I got back home, I got the call from Swank, and it was just like, hey kid, like it's not going to work out for you. I was like, all good. You know what? I knew I blew it, and I just thanked them for giving me that opportunity to travel across the US and Canada with some of my best friends and some of the greatest people in skateboarding. And I got to experience that. And like, yeah, I blew it, but who knows, man? Like me and Foundation, I don't think that was really like meant to be anyways. Like,
So did you quit your job too then? Like, was it like, I'm not riding for these guys, I'm not going to work there anymore, I'm out? Or was it just like, was it a whole package? Like,
it's kind of like, well, you're quitting your job to go on this tour, you know? So it's not like when you come back, this slot is available for you, or it's just like, and plus like we had already like moved on now. Now we're like Huntington Beach, Warner Ave is now the spot too.
Oh, it was during
so this is
Warner.
all just like, yeah, the transition has gone down.
So living up here, we had Noelle, and I felt
I was living there plenty of times.
You were at Noelle with Raymond Detta and them?
I was there when Dustin lived there, Frank Gerwer lived there, Alyssa.
Morford, I think, lived there, yeah?
No, Gabe was picking up Frank heavily at that time. He was come by, he'd pick up Frank, and I would jump in the van to go out with them skating and filming and stuff and shoot photos. And they were just on a mission, those two. And I would just always be a part of that and try to jump into those sessions. But yeah, Frank and Dustin. So when Foundation didn't work, Dustin was like, hey, come down to 6 Noelle, you know, stereo time. And this is the birth of when stereo was just like, let's give it one last shot. Like, kind of like they were trying to dig themselves out of a situation. So Pastors was like putting this team together with it. It was just like Dustin Dolan, Pete Eldridge, Joel Meinholz, J.R. Neves, rest in peace.
Oh, yeah.
And so I got to like, I met Pete right here. I met JR on this thing. I met, you know, so it was just like, here I am. Now I'm in this, like, this crew. And this crew felt sick. I was like, oh man, this is amazing. It's just a tight knit squad here. And we're all just on this like come up right now. And we're filming for a deluxe video, you know, when they put all the, I think it was called Worldwide.
Oh yeah.
Where all
Like
the companies are in one
distribution video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we filmed for that and then had a little stereo section in that.
Sick.
And that's when I was just like Warner Ave to 6 Newell, like as much as I can. So I was staying at 6 Newell quite often.
So at that time you're partying pretty hard if you're at Noelle and Warner.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we just had the bar right next door. It was just like, it was go time, man. Third and Army was just born too.
Oh, okay. It was there already.
It was just born like, hey man, we got to go check out this spot, Third and Army. And so it was just built.
Oh shit. Okay. I was going to say, like, what spots were you guys going to a lot? You remember skating in the city?
The Presidio rail was like a go-to. Like the Presidio
that was
handrail.
Dustin Dolan's training ground.
It was his training ground. It was Frank. It was everybody just like, so
that thing was so good.
Yeah. So you would seriously from 6 Newell to Presidio, just like boom, all the way there, hit that, go get some pressed sandwiches on the way back and party back, you know?
Okay. Damn.
Late night sessions at the pier. Dude, I'm trying to remember who lived there that like he could skate street super good and he could skate vert super good. And he was from the East Coast, and I think it was Frank's friend. And
John Klein?
John Klein, baby. Yeah, John Klein lived there, man. I'm forgetting like a key component, dude.
Yeah,
like,
John, he didn't have great style, but he had a huge bag of tricks.
Oh, he could do anything.
Yeah.
And he rode this real skinny board. You're like, how is this dude? You could skate everything as tech as you want to be or as gnarly on a vert ramp as you want to be. He was sick, man.
He used to come down to our ramp. We had a ramp in the peninsula, and he would come down with like, I want to say Liver's Edge or somebody kind of random. Yeah, I think so. I think it was like Impastris. I think they would come down, maybe Dawes or something. Like they had a little crew. You weren't at Wallenberg when Frank kickflipped it, were you?
No.
Okay. Because I think that's kind of around that era, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit past.
Okay. Did you see Frank take some crazy hills? Was there some gnarly hill bombing back then?
Oh, yeah. Him and Milligan would do like they would like hold each other in bomb hills. Like when they get on the same board or whatever, they would be nuts, man. I remember I had this little Civic, a little stick shift Civic, and I was like driving in the hills on a stick shift is tough out there. And we were getting faded one night, and we'd like saved up all these boards, all these old boards. We're like, all right, let's go hit the beach and bomb fire these things, man. So we pack up the Civic to go, and Frank's like, I'm driving, you're drunk, like whatever. And he was just having he hit the hills, just like, catch a little air off the Civic. And I was like, yo.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Fast.
He at that moment, I think, was really learning how to bomb hills, like no joke. And they would do it late night. They would do it all day. Like, yeah, they were sick with it. I remember walking down a hill. We were coming back from a spot, and these guys, they're gone, man. I'm just like, yo, I can't. Oh man, I got so frustrated that I couldn't get myself to like bomb the hill with them. That I focused my board and I walked down the hill all like sad, just like, I can't bomb hills, man. But they were just like, yo, man, it's baby steps. You got to learn this shit. It's not like, it's just, let's go out. And they started teaching me the ways and stuff. But still to this day, like, nah, bombing hills is crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Now I go out there and I see the homies and I'm just like, they're clocking. They got the little speed gun, 35 miles per hour, bro.
You had a trick on Hubba too, right? In the stereo.
Yo, yeah, that's a good story right there. Because, you grew up watching Hubba Hideout. So you're just like, what can I do? And at this time, it's like, they put the green benches in. And
Oh,
I don't know if you remember that. They were trying to like, how can we stop this shit? So they put these like green benches in. So you had to kind of go around those to hit the thing. So you knew it was coming to an end. And so switch no slide, big spin out. And I break my board. Mark Baines. Shout out Mark Baines, man. He was around that time. Yeah, Bainesy, baby. He had a board. So I was like, hey, we, grabbed his board. End up doing it. Was so happy. And that, anything we got, we bring back to the new house. And Dustin had a tape, and it was called the footy tape. And everything we get, we put on the footy tape, and we're just like watching it, and I was just excited. I remember the next time I seen Gabe, because Gabe was picking up Frank a lot, and I knew back to the photos, right? You need to get photos. So I was like, I'll do it again. I just want to get a sequence of this, like so bad, like, oh, what'd you do? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, maybe, yeah. And I'm like, kind of depressed, like, damn, he didn't think that was good, like, and Gabe's seen it all, like, so you're just like, all right, just because he wanted to see you just continue skate. So what we do is just get a good trick, go party. And it wasn't like, okay, we're skating today. We're going to go get a line. We're going to go get a clip here, and we're going to do it again. And we're just like, keep this going. That's what we do. We don't just get one trick, go up the drunks, right, for like 3 days. And like, yeah, that's switch nose slide big spin. That wore off. Like, okay, it's go time again. You're just like, nah, keep this thing going. But yeah, that was like my big moment on Hubba Hideout. Switch nose slide big spin.
When you were partying and skating, were you partying as you skated, or did you different?
No,
you couldn't drink and skate, right?
If I did, I got broke off, and I started like writing a list of injuries I got from being wasted to skating. And it was like the injuries being wasted started to take like double the amount of injuries skateboarding. And these are just like not even riding a skateboard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
What happened? Oh, I tried to jump over a car, like a parked car moving. I clipped on the way up and just got broke off. Or like I said the wrong thing to the wrong dude, and there goes my teeth. Like, just shit that started to add up, and you're just like, this is starting to look like an issue. Like you have more injuries that are pretty bad not skating, than this. So it's just like, but then there was a couple people. There were some people, but not really. Back then, it was just like you didn't mix the two. Like skating
Dustin
and
Dolan
drinking
is like the only guy. I mean, there's probably a few, but Dustin does it. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, when it comes down to it, Dustin didn't have like a six-pack at the session just trying to get some of these tricks. That came a little bit later on, I think. I'm talking stereo
okay.
days. But like,
yeah.
Ali Boulala was the first person I ever saw that was just like, he was drinking in the daytime, and we're going to go skate. And I was like, yo, this dude's just sipping a 40 at noon. Like, we're about to go skate. What's he going? Like, but he could do it, until that foot clip happened. Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to get you regardless. Yeah, Trainwreck was another person that could get it in.
So is after that era kind of when bootleg starts and things are starting to move towards the whole Baker thing? Like first it's Strickland and that little crew, and then it evolves into what it is today. Strickland's not a part of it anymore, but is that kind of where you go from stereo?
So during the end of stereo is kind of like, it all gets all mixed up sometimes. Baker was being thought of and born, right? And these guys are like, they're leaving Birdhouse, they're leaving Zero, Dustin's leaving Stereo, Maldonado's leaving Toy Machine. And so that's being thought of and born, right? They're filming for this video, Baker Bootleg.
And what's going on in your mind in that moment? Like, that's what, like, are you thinking these guys are crazy, or are you thinking like they're going to pull it?
This is my crew. This is all I care about is up in the drunks. Piss Drunx is my family. That is all I cared about. Like, I knew that like I was not good enough compared to those dudes. I was more into the aspect of like, I'm just skating, getting clips. I like that part of it and filming video parts, but I'm not taking myself as serious as I should because I love this other aspect of it, which is just like Piss Drunx up in the drunks being a part of this family.
Mm.
And I'm like the token homie that just gets to ride along. And I'd never put myself in a position to like, yo, take yourself a little bit more serious. These are huge opportunities. But they never looked at me in a way like, oh, you're part of this shit, Shane. Like, no, I was never really like, I was just a friend that got to tag along, that they were like, yeah, you can come too. Or you got an idea for an ad, or yeah, we're going on this trip, you too. Like, we're filming for this video, like we want clips of you in it. But it's like if I applied myself and really was like, I'm gonna get all these tricks and I'm gonna show them like I'm good enough to ride for this company and like do that, but I didn't, you know? It just was like a family thing.
But were you full of energy like you are now? Like now you're definitely like a dude you want at the session because you're skating great and you're hyping dudes up. Like you're fucking a hype man.
I think back then I was the same thing, you know, but I skated, but I didn't like, it was more like get drunk, have fun, party type shit, you know, and they wanted that energy around. It's like,
sure.
They don't know what they're going to get sometimes because it can be like Hurricane Shane's going to come out and just act a fool, or he might just be the funny guy that just like hypes a session up, you know, like Dustin always looked out for me too. Like, hey, come this, you know, try this out at Stereo. And even with Stereo, it's like, I remember an ad came out and the video's out. Here's the names of the team. And I'm like, I'm not even on the ad. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm in the video, but I'm not in the ad as far as like a proper team writer. Like, and so I took that as like, man, I'm just like being missed, you know, like I'm not, what's going on? And someone never told me like, you need to chill the fuck out. Like you need to slow down, homie. Like these are opportunities. Look at what's happening. Foundation gave you a shot. You blew it. You gave it what, 50%? You still, thanks to Jamie Thomas that put you in the little edit of the tour video. That's cool. But you didn't take yourself serious to give this a shot, right? Boom, that's done. Stereo's up. What's up? You got in the video, same thing. It didn't fall through for you. Now your homies are starting this company and they don't tap on your shoulder ever to go like, we want you to ride for this. Not, you know, but if I were to apply myself, maybe that would have happened. I don't know. But so that's what that was. And then I was just falling down towards this like lower self-esteem. And I would just mask it by drinking and wilding out and being a part of this because I knew I was a part of the Piss Drunx, that I could be like secure in that. I was like, I'm good at this. I'm with my crew. I'm drinking and drugging and wilding out with my crew. Like this is where I stand. This is where I know I'm good at, right? And so to go back to your question, did I think that what they were doing was going to work in skateboarding? I didn't even care. Like I didn't, and I don't think they did. I wasn't in those conversations, those dark conversations that like Strickland and Greco and Andrew were having, because those dudes were like, we're doing something that's crazy. They're leaving security, right? Birdhouse was the shit, right? They're riding with like Tony Hawk, Keith Kirchart, Jeremy Klein, like they just did the end. Like that's a big deal that they're leaving over there. So to start
Jim
something
was
new,
on
like,
zero, and
Eric was like, should I leave? Should I not? Should I leave? Should I not? Like it was gnarly decisions for those guys. Even fucking like watching Mike quit Toy, like that was heart wrenching. Like, damn, dude. Like the trio left over there: Bam Margera, Kerry Getz, Mike Malnado, Alyssa Steamer. Like all them left Toy. That's heavy.
Super heavy.
You know? Hell yeah. I was there when Jim quit Zero. I was there when Mike quit Toy. Like I was there when Mike turned pro. When Alyssa turned pro, dude, all these great things are happening around me and I'm in the middle of it and I'm not applying myself to like live out what they're living, right? They're turning pro and catching checks and going and doing it up, but they're also up in the drunks at the same time. But it's like, obviously the skill levels I'm talking about, these are some of the greats.
Yeah.
Some of the greats.
Definitely.
And you're skating around some of the greats, it can like fuck you up. I'm just like, damn, this dude just ollied from like here to there, like Maldonado, bro. Like, I can't do that. Like, this guy's frontside flipping down 14s. Like, boo! This guy Greco, man, is like, wow, you just backflipped a fucking 15, homie. And like, what am I surrounding my? I just can't get myself to do this. Like, this is like this caliber of skating. And it's like, dude, you should have been just doing what you're good at. Like, so stick over there and get good at what you like.
Right. Do you think that encourages you to party more and like maybe gives you a little sense of depression that like,
yeah.
I mean, you must have seen like what stands out back then. Do you remember like something that was like, even with all that rad skating, I couldn't believe it this day that this guy did this, you know?
It's endless.
It is, huh?
It's endless. Like you could go start naming tricks to me that you remember from that era.
Yeah.
Most likely I was there. The times that meant more to me, the biggest moment for me was when Eric turned pro.
All right.
When Ellington turned pro, that was like, we made it. Like we did it as a team. Like, oh my goodness, for a big company too. That was huge, right?
Sure.
When Maldonado turned pro, that was like, finally, he was the person to me, and I think for a lot at that time, what it takes as an amateur to turn pro. I've never seen someone so good for so long be for so long. And then finally, when it was just like, you're pro, it was just like, no shit. That was intense.
That was I feel like that was the curse of East Coast almost. That like there was some dudes in the East Coast that they just have to work harder for it. You know, all the media, all the magazines are out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you wrote for like an East Coast style brand or
right.
Even
but like Fred Gall, he came to San Francisco, he switched 5-0 hub, like he got, you know, like you had to come out here. A lot of dudes moved out here because they wanted to be a part of this thing. And Maldonado, I think, kept it real and stayed out there a while. But I mean, Dan Wolf's video, Eastern Exposure, like this shit's so like East Coast powerhouse, right?
Oh, he's the best. He's the best, man. Yeah, I lived with Maldonado for a while. When the Warner Ave thing was coming to an end, we all were like splitting up, like where are we all going to go? Andrew and Eric went to LA to secure the Baker thing, and Maldonado moved back home to Westchester. I had nowhere really to go, didn't have that much money left, and I was like, he's just like, why don't you go and live with me and my grandma? And I was like, really? Wow, thank you. Like, I would definitely be down for that. And so I'm just like sleeping on the ground over at Mike's grandma's house. Rest in peace, Frankie, man. Yeah. That was a blessing, man. That was such an amazing time for me, and have to Mike to open his doors to me to have that. Like, I'll never forget those times. Like going to Fairman's, getting to know those guys, getting to know his crew, like the people he grew up with in Westchester and how rad they were. And like, there was a strip called Gay Street where all the bars were, and Westchester's a tight little town, man. And everybody kind of knows each other, and like getting to meet his crew who he grew up with, to all the girls and homies that grew up with him. Like, that was sick. That was dope. And then like teaching me the ways of like, hey, this is how we take the train over to Philly, going to Love Park for the first time. He's like, yo, just stay by me, homie. And I was like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm gonna stay. I'm with Mike, like.
Okay.
So got to experience Love Park with Mike. This is also the era of like Kerry Getz. So Kerry Getz is writing for Habitat, and he is about to open up a shop called Nocturnal.
Oh.
And the first store he had was on, I want to say it was 3rd and South. It was right next to a bar called John's. And across the street was Lorenzo Slices. And so I was able to get a job even there when it was first born. So I was like, now I'm like, I had met my ex-girlfriend at the time, and she lived in downtown Philly. So I ended up just moving in with her, and now I'm living in Philly, and I'm working at Nocturnal, and I'm right down the street from City Hall. City Hall is still popping. Love Park is popping. Muni wasn't even the spot to go skate. It was City Hall. City Hall was the spot, man. And then Love Park, of course. But like, to be that close to that, like I lived right on 13th and Strout, right down Broad Street. And so that was dope. You just wake up, I skate down South Street, go check in at Nocturnal, go kick it with Maldonado, Pete Eldridge, Plain was the filmer, Bootleg is getting born now. So it's like, I know we're kind of getting all over the place, but it goes back to like your Baker Bootleg kind of conversation. So yeah, there's now Baker comes around to do a big summer tour. They're evolved. They've got their little thing going. They're just like, all right, we want to start something new. They picked me up on the East Coast trip. As I'm living in Philly now, Trainwreck, who's a friend of mine now and is out there on a zero trip. I was like, hey, why don't you stay here a little bit longer? Baker's coming through. You could jump on the Baker tour as a friend. He's like, no doubt. Like, I'm going to this is the end of my zero trip. Cool, I'm going to stay here. He ends up meeting like my ex-girlfriend's friend. He likes her. He ends up staying with her, which is literally across the street from my crib. So now we're just vibing, like Nocturnal, chilling, skating. Trainwreck's loving the East Coast vibes. Like now we're on this Baker trip. We pick us up. We're going on this trip. They're like, hey, boom, Shane, we want to start a new company. We want you to be the team manager for it. What should we call it? And I'm like, what? We're going to do a sister company on Baker? So we're all throwing around names and stuff. It lands on Bootleg. Now we're like, who's going to ride for it? And I'm like, this dude right here, Trainwreck. Like, hey, so we got to get Trainwreck off zero. And then it's like, okay, who else are we going to get? Oh, we got to get Alyssa Steamer. Oh, we got to get Pete Eldridge. Well, Pete Eldridge is locked and loaded over at Zoo York, clothes and boards. And so I'm like, damn, that's going to be heavy. So everybody made these huge sacrifices. Just like when Baker was born, they left Birdhouse, they left Zero, but these guys were like, Pete left Zoo. Trainwreck left Zero. Like, Alyssa left Toy. So
did you have to get into any conversations on those, or did you just get the writer and then the writer would like, did you have to talk to Jamie Thomas at all for like, getting Trainwreck or getting in the middle of these things?
Not with Jamie. I wish that maybe we would have with that. We kind of let that up to Trainwreck to handle. So like, hey, you're going to leave this to go for that. And then I was like, more about the marketing side. I was like, dude, let's get this ad, man. We're going to go to the tattoo parlor and we're going to cover up your Zero tattoo. And it's going to be your first ad. And it's going to say steady crushing. And so we go down there and we're like, he's getting the tattoo covered up, Zero tattoo covered up for his first ad. Because we're just about like that old.
Yeah. No, I get
industry
it.
Style advertising and kind of, but then it's like, dude, that should have been done maybe a little bit smoother, right? Like,
but is that the way that Jamie finds out about it then? Or did he quit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, did Jamie have a heads up or did he open the mag and go, oh, I guess he doesn't write for it?
No, I don't think he didn't open the mag and see that. But I think that like the way he found out was probably through a phone call or something. And I think Jamie was even trying to like really get a hold of Trainwreck, like even going to his apartment. We're like, dude, let's talk this out. Like, what's going on? Probably because Jamie's like, you just turned pro for Zero. You might be sitting on a lot of boards.
Right.
Don't just leave me high and dry like this. And I think Jamie had gotten like the way that people had quit on him before might have been on some drunk shit, right? Oh, fuck it, I quit. I'm going to go ride for this shit. Not thinking like, dude, do it right. Like, don't burn the bridge, but everybody's young, drunk and stupid trying to just like ride for the cool shit and just like not thinking about it and just going for it.
And then
Jamie did a lot for so many people.
Oh yeah.
Big doors, great things for people. The bigger thing too with Trainwreck was it's like, damn, he'd been sitting on all this footage he'd worked on, which Lee DuPont had filmed. So now we're like, how do we get this footage and what are we going to do with it? And it's like, well, that's, Lee put a dollar amount on it and we had to go drive down, pay for the footage. And that footage was now taken from Lee and given to Transworld to be put in the Transworld video. And that's how we got Trainwreck's part in Transworld video.
Well,
I did have phone calls with, was it Jeff Pang or Peter BC over at Zoo York?
I
forget who it was, but that was a hard phone call.
For Eldridge?
Yeah. Because I knew what Pete was leaving. Pete was leaving some strong security over there. Him being such an East Coast legend, him riding for such an East Coast legend company, being attached to like the clothing side, and New York clothing was actually doing pretty good then. So it's just like, all right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember giving like some of my money that they were paying me. I was like, hey, break some of my money off to Pete. Like make sure he gets some of that. They're like, well, you sure? And I was like, yeah, just take $500 out of my check every month and give it to Pete. You know, like we got to make sure he's taken care of.
If you're looking back on that, is every decision that was made like kind of a stupid decision that everyone just went with passion, but like on paper, it's not a good idea? Like, was everyone just partying and going like, let's fucking do it? Like, who cares? But like now you'd be like, whoa, dude, Zoo's paying you like whatever. Like you're like, we don't know. Is this going to work?
Right.
You know?
Like I can only speak from my experience and through my vision of what I was going through. Right now, Pete and Mike and whoever else, like those are tough calls. And those are questions that they might need to be asked. Like, hey, Pete, would you rather have stayed at Zoo and not done that? Knowing that what you know now.
Right.
He might say yes, or he might go, no, that was an awesome part of my life. I'm glad I did that. Or he might be, fuck no, those dudes suck. Like, why did I do that? You know, because we're fucking out of it. Piss Drunx, who cares? Like, I'm not like, what? But yeah, for me, like, Jay Strickland gave me an opportunity that I fucked up. Like, I had an opportunity to be this team manager for this brand and help learn this position. I did not know what I was getting into. I remember like, what does a team manager do really? Like break it down to me. Hold on, what's going on? And like, I was still so caught up in drinking and partying and skating and still trying to be there for like whatever I needed to do with bootleg. And that's how I got fired. Like, this ain't going to work for you, man. And like the filmer playing Mark Brandstetter ended up taking that position, which is a much better position for him because he's filming everybody and building content and knowing what they all need and want. So it's like, that's a no-brainer. Like, that's the person. And then here comes Bootleg 3000, the video filmed and edited like by Jay and Plane. And that was dope for them, man. Like, I, if anything, like helped bring some team writers to the table. Like, but yeah, another opportunity blown. So I can look back and it's like, Foundation, Stereo, you didn't apply yourself to Baker. They still looked out for you for Bootleg. Like, hey, you're not good at skating, but we'll give you a great job. Like, this is kind of what happens after skateboarding anyways. So it's like, here it is, kid. Like, learn it as you go. I'm living in Philly and LA now. Like, I got this apartment, like the Bootleg Baker apartment that I live at in LA, and I'm still living in Philly. So I'm going back and forth, getting calls like Anthony Mosley calling me up like, hey man, they're fucking up the place, dude. I'm like, who's there? I was like, oh, that's just the squad. That's just the Piss Drunx. Don't worry about it, you know? And just like, but I should be there making sure the kid's okay, you know, like, but I didn't. And so, yeah, I just look back and think of like, damn, man, you really blew a lot of opportunities, but they still kept you around, you know? So I just want to say thank you to everybody that ever gave me that shot, from Chris Pastris, Mark Waters, Todd Swank, Jay Strickland. You already know, like Andrew Reynolds and Greco and Ellington, like shit, they're the ones that held me down when I got my shit together.
For sure. What do we need to know about Jay Strickland? What can you say about him? Like, I don't know a lot about this guy.
I think Jay's like a marketing genius.
Was he like a mastermind of a lot of these pieces, huh? He was pretty smart in that.
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think with his vision of what he had, what he wanted to do, with Andrew's vision, with Greco's vision, I think those three together are like so unique in every which way. You know, they all bring something so amazing to the table, from the talent on a skateboard to the talent of like how the graphics might look, you know, to the marketing, how they look in the ads, you know, like that was a powerhouse right there. And that's like how that was born and where it is now and how that ended up. I mean, you got to talk to those guys about that one.
Yeah, it didn't end well, I guess, as far as their relationships go. But I mean, before that, like, was he operating on humor and like, was he a fun guy? Like, I've never really met him. I've
my
only
nickname
done,
I gave my nickname I gave Jay was Suge.
Huh?
Suge Knight.
For sure.
You know, because he carried this. He was a big dude, right? And he carried this. He had this aura about him where he had like intimidation. You know, like when you're around him, you felt a little intimidated. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, okay.
He bring that to the table. It's like, okay, Mickey Reyes.
Oh,
when you were a kid and you first met Mickey, you were kind of shook. You're like, dude, I don't know. Like, I better not say the wrong thing. I better not fuck up. Like,
100%.
You just kind of like held yourself a different way until you got a little bit more comfortable to be yourself, right?
Okay. He was similar to that.
He kind of carried that aura about him, you know? And also he looked at skateboarding, I think, as like, this is skateboarding, man. Like, we're going to fuck with it. We're going to do what the fuck we want to do. And we're going to have fun with it. And some feelings might get hurt, right? It's like Rocco had his way of like approaching skateboarding. And I think Jay had his way too. And I think these things in skateboarding is what we gravitate to. And, you know, like look at Big Brother and I think of like, you know, some of the graphics that were out there, like it's entertainment.
Yeah, no, for sure. I remember there was the ads that had the silhouettes and you'd be like, guess who the next guy is?
Yo, yeah. Or when Plan B was putting their team together, and there's like, here's the list, and it was all these pros, and like the next one was like, these are crossed off, and you're just like, oh, this is the illest shit. Like, I want to pick. Yeah, it was fun.
And it's interesting because it kind of seems like huge moments in the, you know, like when Plan B started, that was huge.
Yeah.
When this Baker and all this stuff started, that was huge. You know, like when Vision guys like went to Blind, like there was these moments where it was kind of like it wouldn't have happened if it happened any other way. They had to take from people to make it this impactful thing that was going to be the next generation. This ain't just the flavor of the month. This is forever. This is like Baker going on into 2023, you know, whatever. Sure. So like, I don't know. It's interesting. It's all that shit really interests me because I seen it from, you know, you're seeing it from afar, but you're not in the mix to know like all of what's going on and whatnot. But,
right.
And so in that kind of time is that the end of you partying? Like when, no,
I keep going.
Cause I don't think I even met you till you were sober.
Right. Yep.
So, and it was probably like 2 years deep into sobriety when I think we went on to that skate rock. It was like 2 or 3 years. I think you were, cause you were telling me about it and I had the interest, but I wasn't there yet.
Right. Yeah.
So, I'm curious to know, like, when you're quitting and you stop and you're changing your life and you're doing all this stuff, you're doing it for yourself. But along with what you're doing, you need friends. But all your friends are the party guys that you're trying. So it's a really tough, like, for me, I couldn't go to bars when I first started. It was just too hard. I can't go to a bar and not drink. No way. Like, I see a lot of people that I love that are out of control with it. I don't mind if you drink, but if you don't have control on it, you need help. That's how I look at it. But I can't be the one to tell you that. From your perspective, has an intervention ever gone, like, to me, it's like, let's just call him friend A. You go have an intervention with this guy. He's just going to be like, fuck you. You're not my friend anymore. Who are you to tell? Who sent you? Brandon Turner was telling me because he's working in this thing. And he's like, who sent you? That's the number one response. Like, you know, I didn't ask for this shit. Like, what they always tell you is you have to want it to be successful. I think the huge question for me is, were we just lucky that we wanted it bad enough? And is there a way you can help someone realize that they do want it? That stuff is really powerful. And I know it's a lot to absorb, but I just wonder if you can speak on any of it.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to, if you're tapping into the sobriety side of things of how I got there, I can only tell my story, and you and me both know, like, by making a living amends is the best thing that you can, by showing others by leading by example. And if they see even you, for example, like, wow, you really learned how to do a podcast and you really are flourishing with it. And you're like, not giving up. And that shows strength right there. And other people might go, hey, how do you do it? What's going on? How do I get to that level? And then you find out that maybe the drinking and the drugging might be getting in the way of some of the stuff that you want to achieve. As we talked about before, it was the laundry list of huge opportunities that I fucked up, right? Some might look at that as like, what are you talking about? You got to experience all that. Yeah, I did. But I could have attacked each one with more energy and seen where it could have taken me. Well, I was fortunate enough, I hit a bottom, not knowing I hit a bottom, that I had an intervention with my family and my ex-lady at the time, sat me down and said, hey, you're going to rehab tomorrow. The fuck I am. I'm not going. What are you talking about? Well, if you don't go, we're going to be out of your life. We're going to stick to that. We no longer want to talk to you or be around you. So tonight's your last night at your house, and then I'm going to pick you up at 7 a.m. in the morning. We're going to go to rehab. Okay, go back home. I'm just throwing pills back, throwing booze back, thinking like I can get to Arizona in 6 hours. Like, you know how we do. It's like, we're going. Yeah. It's like, what do I got? Like, how can I get out of this? Because like, I'm up at the Drunx till the day I die. Like when I saw Andrew and Jim get sober, I was pissed. Me and Dustin were like, what the fuck you mean? We the Piss Drunx, baby.
Yeah.
What like, this isn't who we are. Like, so I call up Eric, get this shit, man, like rehab. And then he says to me, good, you need to go. And I was like, when my brother tells me that, it hit different. Like it hit even different than like my
your
family.
Kind
of. I was just like, for real? And he's like, just go, man. Go. It's only for 2 weeks. You need this. Look at it that way, man. And I didn't have much going for me. Like, I'm taking odd jobs at that time, like working, PA jobs and here and there. Like I did, do the Shake Junt thing. I put out a Shake Junt video. It wasn't a company. I was able to do that in my heyday of getting wasted. But I didn't know what I was doing with it. I didn't have a goal of like, I'm going to turn into a company. I didn't know how to do that. I just made a video. So I knew there was that side of things going on, like the bootleg thing and all that, just like got fired and let go of that because I fucked that up. And it's just like, all right, screw it, man. So I go to rehab and end up doing 2 weeks there. They're like, we think you need 2 more weeks. Turns into 3 months.
Ooh.
I do 3 months in rehab. At that point, something has changed, like really changed. Like I'm a different person, right? I got a system in play. I go to my meetings every day. I'm like getting the keys to go back to my house. I'm freaked out. I'm a newborn baby. I don't even know how to speak to my OG friends. So I just don't even see them for like, I don't know how long. I remember going to get a tattoo and I run into Braden. And I'm like, oh shit, Braden, what's up, man? How you doing, dude? He's like, yo, where you been, man? How's things going? I'm like, good, man. Just like got out of rehab. I'm just like not drinking anymore, not doing drugs. Like, okay, sick. And I was freaking out because I didn't know how to talk to him. I thought he was going to judge me and like come at me the same way I came at like Andrew and those dudes. Like, you're weak. So I just stayed focused on my sobriety, my sponsor, and stay in these meetings. I was like, Andrew was sober at the time. Jim was sober at the time. Andrew starts like kind of making music around this moment. And I had been writing so much in my books and my journals and stuff. And I was like, I come over to his house and he's just like, hey, let's, grab coffee. Let's go to a meeting. And I'm just like, all right, this is dope. And him and Spanky are just like, all right, I'm fucking around. I was like, hey, let me see what I got. They're like, what? Yeah, join in, like whatever. And I started like kind of singing along. And next thing you know, it's like, I like this. And I'm like, you guys got more of this stuff? Like, they're like, yeah, we record all the time. And I was like, I'm writing song after song after song. I don't care what it sounds like, what it do. Andrew's all, this is kind of sick, man. He's like, I got a friend and he can put a mic on you and we can just do this. So I'm like just going over to his house and I'm recording my lyrics over just his guitar riffs with like kind of no drums, no, like maybe some spankies in there too with like lead and rhythm and that's it. Next thing you know, Beagle's like, I can play drums. What's up? And we're like, no way. We're like putting together song after song after song after song. And now we're like, yo, let's go fuck around and record this shit. Like, let's get Beagle involved on some real drums. And here we go. And it's me, Spanky, Andrew, and Beagle.
Wow.
He's like, well, and I was like, we should call this shit the GOAT and the Occasional Others, man. He's like, what? That sounds tight. What's the Occasional Others for? I was like, that's all the people that come to hear us or listen to us. They're a part of us. They're the occasional others. We need them or we can't exist.
I like
So
that.
I was like, I call him Neckface and I was like, yo, Neck, man, I need this drawing. Like, I want this, like these praying hands. Like, and he's just like, I got you. And he makes this drawing. I was like, that's the logo. That's the GOAT logo.
Sick.
Yeah. And so that energy got put into music. And I found a new way to like hang out with friends and do some shit, man. And
So
I was like, no way, this is fun, dude. And then eventually I started to see other people and I started to get more comfortable in my own skin. But it took a good year of just like sticking to my program, doing what I was taught in rehab, applying that in the real world. And then also Baker Boys Distribution was born. And I'm like, dog, we got something here called Shake Junt. It can be something. And I write this 5-year plan. I was like, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to sell grip tape bearings and bolts. I want to start introducing clothing to the situation. I want to make full length videos to attach to this. And I was like, let me bring this to you guys. It's like, I don't even know you fools. And I want to just like, see if you guys, is this legit?
Yeah.
And they're like, he sounds like he's got his shit together. And this has already got a couple, like, you know, people kind of know about it from his first video. And like, let's give it a shot. Hit the tour running. And they made like the first launch of Shake Junt, which was like one t-shirt and some stickers and like sold that. Next thing you know, I'm like, we're like spraying our own grip tape, like really doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we're buying these machines that you spray cars with, and we're like buying these like fiberglass stencils, laser etching those out. And now one's turning into 6, and like Justin Roy was helping like build this thing because he was a main person that worked at Baker Boys, and he's like, dude, we can make this thing and do 6 at a time, man. We'll cut the time in half. We're hiring people to go in this tents. They're coming out green and yellow. Like, I can't work here no more, man. Like, I'm spraying this grip for too long. And just like, we're hang drying them all and shit. Like, it was real do-it-yourself shit, man. Because before I got sober, I was like ironing on Shake Junt t-shirts, like logos on your shirt, and like buying DVDs, calling up the shop, like, hey, can we do a premiere at your shop? I got these DVDs and I got a couple t-shirts, you know? So it all came from doing it yourself, you know? And then when I got sober, I was like, let's just apply this on a bigger level. And that's when I dove into that. And then skateboarding, I found love for skating again, like really, because I wasn't really skating the last couple years. I touch it every now and then. And this is like, you'd see like, if you see the footage I have in like a Baker 2G or a Baker 3, it's terrible. It's just like this fool just doing dumb shit. Like, not even trying, because I didn't care. I was just like, I'm up in the drums. Like, I'm not good enough to have a video part. So now I'm in the skating, and like, I love it, dude. And like, I got Shake Junt going. I got the GOAT going. I got skateboarding going. And I'm like, I want to film video parts. I don't want to let this time go by and I don't get to look back and go, what did I do? Like, I want to look at video parts that I'm proud of. I never had a video part when I was loaded, really. And so my first comeback part, if you want to call that, was Baker Has a Death Wish. Is when Death Wish was born. Shake Junt's in the building, and they put out that first video, Baker Has a Death Wish. And it was the first video to introduce Death Wish to the, like, this is the family right here. And I had a full part in that. while filming for that, I'm kind of learning how to skate again. And at the same time, I end up breaking my kneecap in half. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, fucking whatever, like barely a year sober. This is a gnarly injury. Here come the pills. And I was like, why now, man? Like, this is like, things are bubbling, you know? And it's just like, to me, I looked at it as just like my higher power telling me, like, you ain't getting off that easy. All that shit you did in the past, all that bullshit you did, this is a reminder. This shit ain't over. And calling up the right people to surround myself, give them the pills to somebody else, like, hey, don't let me take these until it's like, these are prescribed as medicine. So it's like, take it when you need to take it, you know?
Right.
But I can't find those things. You got to hide them from me. And we get through this injury and get back on the board. And now here comes Shake Junt, Chicken Bone, now it's home.
Yeah.
And I go as hard as I can for that video. Not only did I skate as hard as I could for that video, I also edited that whole video.
Yeah.
With the helps of Dustin Dolan and Donut. But I did majority of that video, and so it just felt good, like, damn, this project and this vision behind it and everything, it was just like that was my baby. That was my everything. And like the people that were willing to give up footage for that video, they just happened to not have like other projects they were working on.
Yeah.
And the premiere we had for it,
I was there.com.
Dude.
That's when they turned you pro, right?
That's when they turned me pro.
Yeah, Andrew had I think I got photos like of them having the boards and on stage.
I was so like, just barely got the video done in time. One of the projectors broke, so we all had to stuff into this one little room, nowhere to sit. It was like kind of like a bummer because of long video and then had to stand. I was like, kind of in my head, I was like, oh, this premiere sucks. Everybody's standing like, and then, yeah, and then he gets me up on stage and I'm like, what's up? And he pulls this board out with my name on it. And I'm just like,
oh, sick.
Furthest thing from my mind. Like, all I cared about was just filming video parts so I could look back later on and be like, at least I didn't fuck up these opportunities, because I did in my 20s, right? And I wanted revenge in my 30s. So here I am, sober with a goal, and I'm focused. And that's only because I got sober. So when people I see around me that might need help, I'm here. You can talk to me and I can give you guidance, but it's going to be you that's going to have to get it. And maybe you haven't hit your bottom yet. And it's going to be hard for me to watch, because I've seen people try, come back out. Boom, 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 boom. I got homies that have gone to jail, come back out, and it's still not enough. People that have, like, you know, overdosed, lived, and still, like, it's still not enough. And you know how it goes, Schmitty. It's jail or it's death.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got friends on both sides of that, you know? So it's like, we don't know how it's going to work out, you know? And it's the work that you got to put in, and you got to want it. And sometimes I did it for others. I got sober for others. I didn't get sober for me. I was like, I'm going to get sober for my friends and my family and I'm going to do it for y'all. I hate this shit. But then after 30 days and 60 days, and then I get my 90 days, oh shit, I got a 6-month chip. I'm different. This is for me now. I'm meeting new people. I'm gelling different. I'm talking different. I'm walking different. Some people don't like it. Some people hated that. Like, they hate the new me. The new me sucked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, whatever. The new me is living and knocking down goals.
Yeah.
The old me fucked up every opportunity that was given to me. And I can't live with myself without trying this.
Yeah, the thing I always say is the way I did it was every year I would take February off because it was the shortest month, and I wanted to prove to myself that I could have one sober month. So that's what I did.
Good for you, though. I mean,
28 days.
That's I mean, the longest string I could get was 3. That was it.
So
Once
then,
3 was up, I was like, it's go time.
Well, for me, when I went through it, then 1 year when I finally really was like, dude, there was a lot of shit happening in my life that I was seeing. Like it was kind of like living vicariously, but also living. And it all combined to just be like, I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to take a year off, not just 1 month, a year. And this is what I would challenge to anyone. Take a year off. It's only 1 year. And at the end of that year, tell me you want to get back. Because I felt like at the end of the year, I was like, I'm never like, it took me probably 7 months maybe to feel like everything's out, like the whole deal. But like at the end of the year, I was like, holy shit, life without hangovers, like all this stuff that was starting to happen and my focus and all this stuff. And I was like, I did it.
You just influenced somebody.
I don't really have regrets. I like everything I've done. I don't really stand up for some of the stuff, but we had a great time. And now it's time to do something else. And so I always think that like if you can start in stages, maybe that, but it's so gnarly. Like you said, like just to see people that you fucking love really struggling with it is just, it's a real heartbreaker. And some of us are sensitive creatures. We don't have that thick skin that we can see our friends just beating themselves up until they are in jail or dead or whatever. But like I've lost a lot of friends that are dead, and I tell the ones that are still alive, you ain't dead. Like, so it's a tricky one, and you don't want to preach and you don't want to be a hypocrite. There's so much that comes with it, and the voices are always in your head. Like, so the approach that you have, I think, is the best approach as far as like, it's kind of what like Andy Roy was telling me the same thing. I've talked to a bunch of different guys that have kind of like been a train wreck, so to speak, and cleaned their act up. And they've always said like, if someone asks me, I'll give them whatever they want. But like, I can't initiate it for them.
One day at a time, man. It really is. Sometimes it's 1 minute at a time, and it doesn't mean I'm out of the clear, I got 16 years of sobriety, and it wasn't from just like, I'm just never going to drink again. Like, no, I went and did, you got to do the work. You got to surround yourself by people that don't drink and do drugs, and you got to get around a solid crew, and you got to, like, if you can't, there's meetings you can go to, there's rehabs you can go to. There's plenty of people in the skateboard industry now that don't do it. And so, I have a tough problem with it too, because it's just like I come from this Piss Drunx era, and then I started a company that's kind of like based loosely around a lot of that stuff too, and it's just like,
it's a tricky one. I know.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, who are some of the, like, was there a few guys that started like team rider wise? Do you get a few guys, or is it like a lot of guys all at once? Like, who are some of the original Shake Junt team riders? I think Herman was one of the first, right?
Yeah, for sure. Even before then, it was my friends who, like, from Arizona, Ryan Too Tight Thomas and Randall Wilson.
Shake Junt was already a thing in Arizona.
Yeah, like I had already started bubbling this whole idea of like, I want to do. At first, I wanted to skate to this song called Shake Junt, and then later on, I was like, I'm not skating. Like, and then I picked up a video camera, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of having fun filming my friends with this camera. It wasn't even that, it was like a digital 8 camera with this little mini fisheye. It was like whatever, but it was good enough to use. And so I started filming my friends, and there was a couple of them that I was like, oh dude, these guys are super good. Like, I wonder if I would make a video and put them in it, that'd be a part of it, And then Beagle was the filmer for Baker,
right?
And so he had a bunch of leftover footage too, and I'm sure Beagle tapped in on this conversation too with his interview he did with you, but that was a huge part. So Beagle contributing so much footage to the original Shake Junt video, having a full part in that, and then like these other guys like having full parts in this video. So the video was loosely around people you kind of haven't really heard of, and then there was like this Baker section in the middle. So the Baker section really helped people want to pay attention to it, right? They're like, wait, there's a Baker section in this, and it's like the leftover footage from their recent video that came out.
Yeah.
And so that really helped it. But the whole purpose behind that video was to like showcase some of my homies that I thought were cool and like rad, and like give them a shine,
Okay.
And that's always kind of been the backbone of Shake Junt, by the homies for the homies. So it's like, let me give you a shot. I'm going to sprinkle you in with some heavy hitters and maybe you'll get a little bit of recognition. And it kind of happened. I mean, my friend John Colbert, aka Flip, like he was on his way. Like he was, you know, getting flow by Baker, getting flow by Plan B, getting shoes from Soltech. Like he was really like heading that direction, man. Ryan Thomas, like obviously I'm gonna put my boy on bootleg. So when I was a TM, I was like, you definitely on bootleg, homie. And like now I'm sending him to like, go, you gotta skate, you know, Tampa Ann, and like Soltech's giving him shoes. And so he's getting a taste of this. And then my other homie, Randall Wilson, like he comes to LA and he kind of sees like how the environment is with skateboarding, with like shooting photos and filming. And I think he got a bad taste of it and was just like, this is not how I want to treat skateboarding, you know? I'm gonna go back to Arizona and kind of do it the way I like to do it. And I was like, respect, dog. Like this cutthroat, like who's who little drama shit that you see in skateboarding, like it happens and you don't want to be a part of that. So, but those are some of the originals that were a part of Shake Junt. And then as it grew, it just became like the people that rode for Baker rode for Shake Junt. And yes, Brian Herman was absolutely the dude that was like, you know, he's putting that shit on his grip tape and he's nollie inward heel flipping over pig tables and he's holding it down for the Junt. And when I go, Theotis Beasley, another one that really was holding it down for Shake Junt. I go to rehab, and when I come back out and I start getting my thing together, it's like, yeah, dude, they've been like holding it down the whole time. Just as like Shake Junt was like a new, to me, it was like the new Piss Drunx.
Huh.
It was a new crew.
Yeah.
You know?
But like getting a Herman in the mag doing a fucking hard flip and his grip says Shake Junt on it, you're like, ooh, that goes a long way.
I mean, that was the trifecta. Man. Like for real, it was like Herm, Biggs, and me. Like that was what, you know, without those two, like it really, I needed those guys. Definitely need those guys. And the help of like Mike Hubert and John Colbert, like putting in so much work as like they were like the kids a part of Shake Junt, and they were just like attacking MySpace and like really spreading the love out there, you know, and doing their thing. And that was really cool to see them do that.
Pushing it through the digital stuff. Yeah. Well, we got to talk about Skate Rock because that's pretty much, I think, where I met you, or at least got to know you. I've probably seen you around and stuff, but I was tripping because I was like, man, I was there when they gave you your board at the premiere, you know, your pro.
I couldn't believe you guys came out there for that premiere from San Francisco. I was like, wow, that meant more to me to see like you and Phelps and like, I think even like, dude, there was some legends there that was like, that I looked up to. I was like, damn, they made the trip out here for this. Is so tight.
It was sick. Poncho was there and I hadn't seen Poncho in like 15 years or something.
Really?
Little Ponchy, yeah. But so I was there at that, and then you guys opened up for Bad Brains. First time you played with Bad Shit in Phoenix, I was there for that. That's a fucking life hammer, opening for Bad Brains. And then later, you guys flew out to Paris. I was there for that. I'm actually sitting next to your dad filming you open up for fucking Dinosaur Jr. in Paris.
What's up?
So like I was there for some moments for you. So I was like, man, that's pretty sick. But talk about, because from my perspective, it was kind of really crazy the week before we left on Skate Rock. It was like, wait a minute, Thrasher's going on a trip with another magazine?
Yeah.
And it was like Schmitty and P-Stone filming, Ty Evans filming. I was like, wait a minute, Ty Evans out of like, he's on another level than us. Like, what's up with that? No, he's gonna do the HD. You guys are gonna do the VX. I was like, really? It's all gonna be cool? Like, is everybody cool with this? Like, 2 mags, 2 articles, like all that shit. And it's like, whoo. But you guys had a pretty big crew, and then obviously Jake and Trujillo had a pretty big crew, and we met in Atlanta. Theotis left his laptop on the fucking plane and left the next day. We didn't get to have the pleasure of Theotis on that trip, but man, we went straight to the blocks with Andrew, and it just never stopped from that moment on. Talk about it from your perspective.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I was like, how are we going to have, but Atiba was the glue. To me, it was just like Atiba was in the GOAT. So for him and him being a part of the skateboard mag was like, I got to bring my mag, right? I think that was like that angle to it. And it seemed like it wasn't going to work, but it was just like, he can't be on this as just a guy that's in the band.
Just the guy that shoot guns beers.
He's like, I need to shoot photos. Like, this is like, look who's on this trip. And it's like, all right, we'll bring the bag and Thrasher. And it's like, oh God, this is going to be nuts, dude. And like, how is this all going to work out? And like Mark Waters and Phelps, it's like, how are those two going to get along? And like, dude, there's this the laundry list of like, how is this shit going to work? But showing up, there we are at the ATL 5 block and Andrew's going for broke.
Oh yeah.
Nollie frontside 360. Here it comes, baby.
Yeah.
First clip of the trick. Who's getting what? Like, why are we starting it off here? Because this is what we do, baby. This is how it gets started. This is rev it up.
Yeah.
So, you saw those slams. That nollie front 3 was brutal.
Yeah.
Like the almost makes the punishment he's taking. You got Phelpers in the back screaming out next one, and he's just giving it at all. He should have had that shit, man. You got Theotis backside flip barely hanging on off the curb. Dude, that was psycho. And next thing you know, Andrew's done. He can't even move his body. He's wrecked. He can't skate the rest of the trip. Right. Remember that? He was dusted.
Yeah.
And it was like, can he even play guitar? His hands are dusted. Like, oh, we lost Andrew on the first day of the trip.
Right.
But sure enough, that man's in the ice bath doing his things, taping up his hands, like still playing old guitar. Like that was a huge first day of that trip.
Right. And Emmanuel Guzman on the fucking, we went and filmed him jump off the freeway over and just the butt slide into the curb. He's out for the whole trip.
He should have broke. I mean, because he gas pedaled it and like went and smacked that curb so hard, and like his whole shit was like, I've never seen somebody shit so black and blue.
No, it was,
and I was like,
up.
How you didn't break your femur and your knee and your shin and everything was just like, that dude's buck.
And talk about a circus. What about the karaoke?
Atlanta bring it though, man. Like that, he bring it. Like so did Grant too, but like every show, he's in the front, giving it, making sure you feel comfortable. Even if it was just like crickets, but it never was crickets. But it was just like he was there to show love and Keystone and like, dude. Yeah, Pat Lana, baby. Much love, homie.
Pat Lana he had the cast on and he went for it. Do you remember, were you at the karaoke bar where you guys were there, right? Where they lit off fireworks and he jumped on the table. Like it was insane.
Yes. Fuck yes, dude. Every one of those shows were just like either, I mean,
Trujillo jumped in with his guitar on it, dude. Like it was just nuts.
It was good, man. Every show was off the chain. I loved it. The New York one was hectic too, man, because like there was no stage and you're just on the floor and it was just like people are coming on top of you and you're just trying to press them off and they're like starting to fall on the drums and it's just like,
right.
Then you just had, Pat Lana in the front, just get out. Like he was like protecting, you know?
Right.
That was sick.
So one last thing I was at actually was you guys opened up for Cat Power at the Fox Theater in Oakland.
We did that.
I think you guys did a West Coast tour open for her, right? So I'm tripping on this, like, and maybe you can't, but could you, like, if you take Dinosaur Jr. in Paris, Bad Brains in Phoenix, open it up for Cat Power, like, does one of these stick out? Like the Skate Rock trip, is one of them like, are you able to say I have a highlight, or is it just there's too much shit and it's all awesome? Or like, what are you feeling?
All of them.
Because it's all kind of insane coming from a kid that dreamt that this could happen someday, right? Like you're like, I'm doing this shit. Like I'm on stage with Andrew Reynolds and we're opening up for Dinosaur Jr.
Yeah.
in Paris. Like,
Yeah,
what?
that was crazy. The Bad Brains one in Arizona was just unreal. Just to go
Back to
see
your
them and then go back to that and just like now we're opening up for Bad Brains at this place that like I was in contest that was help raising money to build the first concrete skate park in Arizona.
Mm.
And now Cowtown is a full-blown skate shop. And now they're running one of the biggest contests in skateboarding. And I'm opening up for Bad Brains at that. So that whole story of this, like, insane to me. And then to go to Paris, the fact that we got flown to Paris, it was just unreal. And then I remember Mark Waters calling us up like, yeah, it's going to be the show where there's going to be all these videos playing and you guys got to create like what you guys want people to see. And I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, photos or video? Like, no, anything you want. Like, when your songs play, they can do it. Like, he's trying to like help us through this. And we're just like, okay, we're doing our best version of what we think people should see. And then we get there and it's like 360 movie theater. And we're just like, wait, we could have had this playing. And we're just like, we couldn't wait to hear like, or see what like Bad Shit had. Like, oh, what did they bring? You know, what are we going to see? And then we're in the back with Dinosaur Jr. And then on top of that, my parents show up as surprise, we're here. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And he's like, yeah, I'm just having a beer with Phelps and P-Stone right now in the front, my dad. And I'm just like, what's going on? Now I'm in backstage with these. And then you're filming the show with my dad talking about baseball. And I'm just like,
Scottsdale baseball.
yo, like, yeah, man. And
I know it was at Tiba and Akko's birthday. Like,
it was a Tiba and Akko's birthday. And
Peabody got the cover. Neckface had an art show.
Dude, what the fuck, man? And then we're just like, oh, and then I'm on the trip with America as a token friend to go travel through Berlin and stuff and continue to skate and do all that. And I was like, oh, this doesn't stop. This is amazing, man.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we come back and it's like, ring, ring. You guys want to do a trip with Cat Power? Like, she wants you to open up for her. And we're like, we better get to practicing and we better bring it because these people aren't here to see us.
No.
They really are going to hate us. So we got to bring it.
Yeah. Were you scared?
Yeah. Well, I'm at the Fox in Oakland.
Taking bitches
theater,
in the bathroom to these emo girls.
And the theater just goes and goes and goes. And it was the most intimidating place I've ever been to. Out of all the theaters, all the shit I've ever done.
Oh, that was the one?
Spot was the one. And I was like, it felt like they were caving in on me. And the stage was so big. I'm like, there's too much room for me to run around. Like, I like to be in a bar where it's like, I'm in the pit, you know? And it was just like, and sure enough, here comes the Black Flag Wasted song we cover. And I'm like, that's the scariest one because everybody knows those lyrics. And I know I can't fuck up. And I think I was like, oh, I think I fucked up on that one, you know? And it's like, I remember coming backstage and was it you? Did you go to see us at that show?
Yeah, yeah. We all went to the tattoo
Tommy
parlor
G.
after.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, man. I remember Tommy Guerrero was there too. I was like, this is crazy. Like,
yeah.
Went to the tattoo parlor. What did we get? We got it's on my leg.
I think Ativa knew the guy who was in San Francisco. It was like right by the Soma skate park.
Ride it out. Because we were just on this trip and Ativa's homie was just like, we're like, yo, we're about to do this tour with Cat Power. We don't know what we're doing on this thing. And he said, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how many times you think you've messed up on the songs when you're playing live, you just got to ride it out. And I'm like, yeah. Sure enough, it's like, it don't matter if you just lost your place in a song or another. They don't know you just ride it out, man. Yeah.
That's so sick, dude. Those are fucking, it's forever. It's like memories that you're just going to always reflect on and just have like a warm spot thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh, dude, hell
life,
yeah. To do
life hammers.
Life hammers. To do the Palladium though, the one that right there off Sunset, the Palladium was like, it was the last show of the tour, and it was just the best one.
Yeah. You probably had a lot of friends came out for that one.
A lot of friends came out for that one. I felt comfortable. I'd done enough shows already, and I was just like, I felt like that was my biggest, best performance I've ever done. You know, it was just like that shit felt good. You know, like that was dope. I remember Arto Sari was there taking photos. I still have some of those photos. I'm just like, man, these things are sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, what's going on with the Shake Junt now? You guys got a collab I saw with Emerica,
Dude,
right?
check it out. Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Here we go.
you got shoes.
I did a Shake Junt collab with America.
Yep.
Boom. There you go.
Okay.
Got the little SJ right there.
Oh yeah.
With the
Oh,
green
those are
yellow
tight.
bottoms, baby.
I'm gonna have to call my friend Don Brown up.
Yeah. Yeah. Did a collab with them. Did about like 4 different shoes. One for Figgy,
Oh,
Spanky,
sick.
John Dixon.
Oh, you did
Yeah.
like a bunch of the riders that ride for Shake Junt. You did a shoe for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
So
way.
that one I just showed you right now is a team shoe. But the reason why it all worked out is because Figgy has a pro model shoe on there, Spanky does too, and John Dixon. And so we're like, dude, this is perfect. Let's just like colorway these shoes up and make some clothes on top of it. And then we hit the road to go visit Figgy in Austin, and then went to Houston and filmed a little video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it came out last month, and it was all, yeah, much love to America, man. We did a good job. Everybody came out sick.
Hell yeah.
I was hyped on that.
And are you guys starting to film, like, was there like a Baker video coming that people are starting to rumble about? Or there's a new project, I think. There's always some, huh?
There's always something. I'm just focused on, what Shake Junt's doing and trying to push that forward. And right now we're working on this venture collab right now with Shake Junt.
Oh, sick.
Pretty excited about that. We're in the middle of filming for this little video. Nothing too crazy, just like a short little video to promote it. But that's like a bucket list for me, man. Like to do a collab with Venture.
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah. So that should be coming out next month.
Okay.
Pretty excited about that.
Just stay busy. And are you working from home or are you back in the warehouse?
Do both. So I work at home, and then I also have like a little office space over at Baker Boys that I go to. And it's so fun too. You just go there and like get to work there, and then we got the skate park in the back. So it's like, even if you don't got much going on, you definitely want to do that.
Okay, but you shut it down for a little bit, right? With the COVID or something, like a year or two ago. Were you guys closed?
Yeah, man. I mean, much love to Baker Boys Distribution for holding that down through those tough times. I mean, they were really smart about how they ordered their product, how they sold their product, how they got us through that time. Much love to everybody that works at Baker Boys Distribution.
Yeah, I mean, we're still here, so we must be survivors, right?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Fucking
tough
crazy.
Shit, Yeah.
Well, dude, I think I took a lot of your time. I really appreciate it.
There is one thing I wanted to mention though, that like the homies out in Philly who have a company called Tariff Planet X. Mike Maldonado, Kerry Getz, they both have boards for it. His name's Angel.
Okay.
He runs this company out there, and he's blessing me with a guest pro model. I just want to give a shout out to Tariff Planet X. Got that coming out. You guys should see that soon in the next, I don't know, I'd say less than a month. That board should be coming out with a little video part to go with it.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, that means a lot to me, and I just wanted to give much love to all the homies over there at Terra Planet X.
Hell yeah. No, seem like you always you're not a guy that seems like he likes to just sit around and not do anything for a while.
Dude, I broke the collarbone and then broke the thumb back to back. And so all last year, for an entire year, on my birthday last year, April 23rd, stage 5 AC joint separation. The collarbone popped up, whole thing, surgery, cadaver, the whole deal. The cadaver doesn't take. I have to chill out. The thing gets a little bit better. I start doing physical therapy, getting my strength back in my shoulder. And then I'm about to go on this trip to Texas to go start filming for this America Shake Junt video. And they're like, yeah, just take it easy. You're just getting back on your board. Boom. First day of the trip. Skadoosh. Break the thumb. Boom. Break the thumb. They put me in this little soft cast. I'm still able to skate on the trip with a broken thumb. I get back. They're like, dude, that thing's broken worse than you thought. We got to put some hardware in it. We got to put that thing back together. We got to stop physical therapy on the shoulder. We got to put you in a cast, surgery to get you out. So I went under anesthesia 3 times last year.
Ooh.
Got the hardware taken out the thumb. Thumb's moving again. Shoulder's getting stronger. I'm back in physical therapy. I'm on the strength part of physical therapy. I'm still not 100%. And now, it's been a year. So,
oh, wow.
Here we go. Let's keep it going. Yeah. 46, baby. I'm still pushing this.
Happy belated birthday. That was last week.
That was last week, man. So I'm hyped to be like, could continue doing what we do and skating as much as I can and blessed to have these opportunities to talk to people like yourself and continue pushing this movement of Shake Junt and giving back to these kids and giving them the opportunities that they deserve to like go live out their dreams. And the only message I can give to any kid out there is just like, when something's given to you to be a part of, especially a team video, give it everything you got, man. Like, don't look to the next project or worry about the next little thing here or there, or drink your shit away or smoke yourself away, because you're going to look back and wish you would have done that. And not many times you get that second or third opportunity to do that. So strike when it's hot, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Get there while you can.
Get it while you can. Exactly. Is there any talk or thoughts ever of music again, or are you guys done with that?
I would love to. You know, like after the GOAT was kind of like fizzling out and people getting back to their jobs and doing what they do, and it was just like not having a place to record and practice at, and I started to do my own thing, and that was going under the name Goat Mouth Gumbo.
Yeah.
And so I put out an album by myself with my friend Greg Tamara, who produced it, the whole thing, and recorded it. So that was fun. I got to do my own little solo project. And then that's when I did that song with Lil Wayne. That was emerged from that. That was fun. And that was it. Like that was a life hammer, man. That shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. But then it was just like nothing really started to work out after that. I miss playing in a band, and who knows, man? Maybe when we get a little bit older than we are now, then we'll get that going again. But I'd love to make songs again. I would.
The skate rock's the perfect formula, because you're going with your skate friends and you're skating all day, and then you're playing music at night. I talked to Riley about the music thing, and the first thing he said was like, difference between skate trip and a music trip. The music trip, you're sitting around a lot. Like, he's like, it was boring. Like during the day, like no one does shit. And he's like, skate trip, maybe you go to bed early or something, but you're out all day fucking doing this and doing that. And like, so that was his vibe on that one. But I like the combined and bringing 30 people to a show. You don't even need to sell any tickets. You already got the fucking crew.
Solid.
You can never go wrong. It's so sick. We always end with like a song. If we're gonna like put any song on to jam out of here, what would you throw on? What have you been listening to lately, or what do you think?
I want to send you a song that was done by the GOAT, that was never released, that was only performed live.
Okay.
I would like to send that to you to do whatever you want with. If you want to give it, put it on somewhere where people can download it and listen to, or you want to use it to end it with this song. But the song's by the GOAT and the Occasional Others, and the song's titled Faster. And it is all lyrics about skating.
Sick. I remember you guys were working on
it faster. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Fuck yeah. Sick, dude. Thank you. It's been a real treat, man. It's good to catch up. I always say it, and I mean it. I hope I see you in real life. Like, I hope if we fucking
absolutely
do the 2-time, like me and Beagle did, like digital. But no, for real, man. It's always a pleasure hanging out and stuff. If you guys come up to the city to film and skate or whatever, always hit me up, and I'm down to kick it or whatever. Get a coffee in the morning.
Absolutely, Schmitty, for sure.
Hey,
Let's do this.
there was one question I forgot to ask you, and I don't know if you have one in particular, but I forgot, you being from Arizona, and then you're in the band and you had this song about Arizona cops are fucked up, right?
No, not cops. I mean, yes, but no.
Arizona
got you fucked up.
Oh, Arizona got you fucked up. Okay.
Yeah, Palo Verde Death Trap. So PV, Palo Verde was a bar that people would go to, and it was the Death Trap. It was just like you'd start to see people's souls be fucking like, that's all they would do. Go to work, go to the PV, and that was it. Like it was the trap, you know? And Arizona can be that way too. Like you can start seeing any goals you might have in your life like diminish because you're getting sucked into like a Piss Drunx kind of atmosphere. It was the home away from home for us, and for like the Piss Drunx. We all lived in Huntington Beach, and I was like, where are we gonna go? Let's go to Arizona and get fucked up. And then we like me and Greco and like crew, we just go to Arizona for a week and just get wasted, and then just be like, woo, let's get out of here. It's getting us, man. Like, and so that was like a little thing that we would do. Like, it's 4 a.m. What are we gonna do? Fuck it. Let's go to Arizona. And I don't know how many times I did that, you know, and just like, yeah, that song's about go to Arizona and get fucked up.
Damn, okay, sick. Well, that's right. Yeah, it was with Greco, like that whole, I think it was like a month he was in the city doing the cover, the Switch Frontside Flip of Lincoln. So that's when
that was around that time. I mean, probably was taking, we had the beer bong going. That was hilarious.
He might have quit like right after that or something. Like it was definitely in that era. It was sick though. I mean, Jim was fucking messed up, and we all were.
Dude, we were drinking Johnny Walker Red at the Piss Drunx table, and it was like middle of the day, and this fool calls up Chief, and it's like, it's over. And I was like, this is crazy. This is nuts.
I love Jim to death. He's like the best. I love everything. All his new shit he's been doing, super inspirational too.
Greco's skateboarding, man.
Yeah.
Greco skateboarding, if I could put somebody on that level. Like the passion he has and what he does, and like no fucks given, and like love him for all who he is, you know? Yeah, hammers, baby. Go out there and get you one.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, homie.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, well, good catching up. Big love. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, homie. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Faster! 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 Push it fucking faster, you little fucking bastard! 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 Faster! 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 Faster, sitting on a tramp, looking like a bitch, wishing that I'm staring, talking and I'm talking. Grab your trash, get up on that bitch. Mongo pushing, who gives a fucking shit? Faster, 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 spin, pop, spin, 51 milli, backside skirt, little shit, weaving in and out, bumping down the tweezer, that's fucking right, get the left eye. Faster, faster. Faster, 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 push it fucking faster, you little fucking bastard. 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 Faster! 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 Faster!
Thank you for listening to another episode of Talkin Schmit. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. When you subscribe, you'll get notifications every Tuesday of new episodes the minute they become available. Also, please leave reviews and a 5-star rating. It's the best way to help the show grow. All of the episodes will always remain free, but if you would like to help support the show, you can do so at TalkinSchmit.com, where you can pick up some merchandise like t-shirts, beanies, hats, and stickers. The website has an entire archive of all of the episodes, with extra photos and videos. Email us with any suggestions, comments, or ways that the show may have improved your life at talkinschmit@gmail.com. All interviews are conducted, edited, and produced by Schmitty. The intro music is Mary's Cross by the band Nature. A very special shout out goes to the executive director, Sharal Camisa.
Shout out.
Love it!
This is Talking Schmit, where the Rolodex is deep, but the conversation is deeper.
Keep the wheels greased.